WWE have been known for making some downright awful creative decisions. These creative decisions can have serious consequences for the reputation of the overall product, as well as a major impact on the career trajectory of certain superstars. Some booking decisions that may seem terrible at the time are rectified by WWE thanks to smart storytelling, but the same unfortunately can't be said for every terrible booking decision WWE has ever made. Which times were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE booking decisions that almost caused a riot. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Number 10. Batista wins the 2014 Rumble. When Batista returned to WWE in 2014, they had big plans for the former WWE champion. They wanted Batista to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania 30 against Randy Orton. The issue was that Batista was miscast as a babyface, meaning the crowd completely rejected him in this role and consequently had no desire to see him win the Rumble. Batista's Rumble win was a complete train wreck as the crowd turned on the match the moment they realized fan favorite Daniel Bryan wouldn't be taking part. The crowd began to boo everyone, including lovable babyfaces Rey Mysterio. The backlash to the match was severe, and it also marked the last ever WWE appearance from CM Punk before he infamously walked out. Due to outside factors, mainly Punk leaving the company, Bryan would eventually be added at the main event of WrestleMania 30, but this didn't take away from the fact that the booking of the 2014 Rumble was a colossal failure. Number 9. Becky Lynch squashes Bianca Belair. The initial plans for SummerSlam 2021 were for Bianca Belair to defend the SmackDown Women's title against Sasha Banks in a WrestleMania rematch. However, Banks was unable to compete and the WWE needed a suitable replacement for one of the biggest shows of the year. This is when they decided to have Becky Lynch return to challenge Bianca, and they did the unthinkable. They had Lynch squash Belair. Becky squashed Bianca in just 26 seconds, ending Bianca's enjoyable title reign. Fans were quick to criticize WWE's booking as they completely buried Bianca by having her lose so quickly. Fans were so quick to question why WWE brought back Lynch as a heel, as Lynch was one of the most popular stars on the entire roster, and turning a heel didn't seem to make too much sense. Number 8. Brock Lesnar squashes Kofi Kingston. WrestleMania 35 featured Kofi Kingston winning the WWE title in an acclaim match against Daniel Bryan. Kingston would then embark on an extended run with the title, but when WWE announced that Kingston would be defending the title against Brock Lesnar, fans knew the reign was about to come to an abrupt end. However, what fans didn't expect was for Lesnar to completely squash Kingston in just 7 seconds. Fans wanted a competitive back and forth match which kept Kingston credible, but WWE clearly had other ideas. The match damaged Kingston's credibility and his title reign, and it was made even worse by the fact that WWE would debut Cain Velasquez after Lesnar's victory, meaning Kofi became an immediate afterthought. The aftermath of Kingston's title loss was also criticized by fans, as following his loss, Kingston simply moved on and never once seek revenge on the new WWE champion. Number 7. Daniel Bryan loses in 18 seconds. Going into WrestleMania 28, fans expected Daniel Bryan and Sheamus to tear the house down, but what they got was one of the shortest matches in WrestleMania history. Bryan would deliver a good luck kiss to AJ Lee on the apron, then Bryan would walk right into a brogue kick, giving Sheamus the victory and the world title. Fans were incredibly disappointed with the match length, as the two superstars could have had such a great WrestleMania match. It was reported at the time that Vince McMahon booked the world title match this way to give fans something they would never have expected, and it was reported that WWE hoped that this would make Sheamus' popularity soar. Unfortunately for WWE, it did the complete opposite. The Celtic Warrior's popularity began to dwindle, whilst Bryan became one of the biggest and most beloved names in WWE history. Number 6. Triple H defeats Sting. The icon Sting joining WWE in 2014 was a huge deal. Fans thought that this would never happen, and everyone was curious to see just how WWE would present the WCW legend. Whilst fans expected WWE to book Sting vs The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31, WWE had other plans, and they decided to book Sting vs Triple H. Fans accepted this as they were under the impression that this was to give Sting a monumental win in his first match, but for whatever reason, WWE booked him to lose. This was a shocking upset and nobody saw it coming. The finish of the match came when Triple H hit Sting with the sledgehammer to secure the win, but this was a lame finish which did little to promote Sting in the best manner. According to Scott Hall, when the rehearsal for the match was taking place, Hulk Hogan and Hall looked at each other in utter disbelief when Triple H announced that he was going to beat Sting. WWE's justification for Triple H's victory was that they wanted to build towards a Triple H vs. Rock match at WrestleMania 32, but this didn't even occur, rendering the game's win completely pointless. Number 5. The Fiend vs. Seth Rollins. The Hell in a Cell match was designed to be the ultimate match, which would finally put an end to heated rivalries. However, in 2019, the reputation of the Hell in a Cell would be changed forever. The main event of the pay-per-view saw Rollins defend the Universal title against the Fiend Bray Wyatt. The WWE had a huge dilemma going into the match. They clearly didn't want Rollins to drop the title, but they also didn't want the Fiend to lose. The simple solution to this dilemma was for WWE to avoid booking the match altogether, but they proceeded to book the worst possible finish ever. The match was stopped when Rollins' actions were deemed too violent, and this made no sense whatsoever as a Hell in a Cell was a no DQ match, and stopping the match due to ref stoppage completely annihilated the concept that is Hell in a Cell. Fans loathed the finish, and they were quick to chant "We want refunds" and other negative chants which showed just how angry they really were. Fans turned on Rollins as for some reason he took most of the heat for the lackluster match finish, and WWE were actually forced to abandon plans for Rollins' babyface run, and they would turn him heel over the next few months. Number 4. Roman Reigns wins the 2015 Rumble. The 2015 Royal Rumble is well established for being one of the worst Rumble matches in company history. The issue with the match was that the WWE was so set on making Roman Reigns the star of the match that it completely backfired and made everyone else in the match look terrible as a result. The match was poorly put together, with fan favourites like Daniel Bryan being eliminated early and other top babyfaces such as Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler being eliminated by The Big Show and Kane. Reigns' victory received unanimous boos, and fans were furious that WWE had selected Reigns as the guy to main event WrestleMania. They even had The Rock make a special appearance at the end of the match, but even someone of his magnitude couldn't even save it, and he was booed rather heavily by the fans in attendance. Number 3. John Cena vs. RVD at One Night Stand. The ECW One Night Stand in 2006 was main evented by John Cena defending the WWE title against ECW original Rob Van Dam. Going into the match, fans knew that Cena would be heavily booed, but the crowd reaction blew everyone away. It was perhaps the most hostile crowd in WWE history, and there were legitimate concerns that if RVD didn't walk out with the title, the crowd would cause a violent riot. From the minute the match introductions began, the crowd wanted no part of Cena. They would throw his t-shirt back at him on numerous occasions, and one fan even wiped his backside with Cena's trademark shirt. It was clear that Cena wasn't expecting a reaction this extreme, and Cena's face when the ECW faithful began to throw toilet paper in the ring was a sight to behold. Thankfully for Cena's safety, RVD won the match and consequently the WWE title. The match was a true marvel to witness, and no WWE title match has ever matched this kind of reaction since. Number 2. The Fiend defeats Goldberg. One of the key matches that WWE were planning for WrestleMania 36 was the Fiend Bray Wyatt defending the Universal title against Roman Reigns. However, when WWE booked the Fiend to take on Goldberg at the Super Showdown in 2020, these plans instantly changed. Fans expected the Fiend to steamroll Goldberg and advance to WrestleMania, but WWE did the unthinkable. Goldberg virtually squashed the Fiend to win the Universal title, and this completely killed the credibility of the Fiend's character, and fans were furious with how the WWE sacrificed one of the most creative characters in favor of a man that was way past his prime. And number 1, Charlotte Flair gets added to the WrestleMania 35 main event. And Becky Lynch vs Ronda Rousey battling out for the Raw Women's title seemed like the perfect main event for WrestleMania 35. The fan interest was certainly there, and the story leading into the match couldn't have been any better. Well, that was until WWE decided to needlessly add Charlotte Flair into the match. This was one of the most backwards decisions WWE had ever made. Adding Charlotte didn't enhance the match or feud in any way, shape or form, and fans quite rightly believed that WWE had made a grave mistake. Interestingly, out of over 60,000 videos on WWE's official YouTube channel, the video featuring Charlotte getting added to the WrestleMania's main event has a total of 77,000 dislikes, making it officially the most disliked video on WWE's YouTube page. But there you have it folks, 10 booking decisions that almost caused a riot. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.